So guys, as you can tell, you guys are getting cute. Make sure you comment down below and say you look cute, Queen Chichi. Okay, today I'm Queen Chichi. Okay, sometime I'm gonna be a beautician chick or Chef Chichi, but I'm Queen Chichi, Olori Chichi. Okay, make sure you leave me a lovely comment and tell me if I'm looking cute in my queen attire. Guys, as you can tell, we are at the studio. Yeah, I just finished doing makeup, and yes, we have a party tonight. Okay, we have a Nigerian wedding. It's like a 5 people wedding. Like, look, this is what Corona, of course, but yeah, social distance wedding, 5 people in a room, and the rest of people are gonna join on Zoom. Okay, so your girl is gonna be looking cute. I was gonna do my makeup. Okay, my husband, Chef Ola, said he can do my makeup. And guess what, guys? Chef Ola has actually done my makeup to a Nigerian wedding before. Let me keep this mic down and show you guys how I'm looking. See me? You see me? You see me? I look cute. I look cute. Make sure you tell me I look cute. Okay? Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so yeah. Let me sit down. Guys, I really like this outfit. Okay, so this is how we dress to Nigerian wedding. Okay? So yeah. Olori Chichi. So yes, guys, I'm going to be introducing my...
People are searching Google for businesses like yours, and 90% of them are more likely to visit if you have photos online.
My makeup artist, let's just call him, my makeup artist is Makeup by Mario, okay? Mario makeup artist, okay? So, I'm going to introduce him, Mario makeup artist, okay? So you guys, okay? Hey, Mario makeup artist, come on here, come on here. 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 That's my makeup artist. We're going to the party together. How lucky am I, guys, to have a makeup artist as a husband? So that's your Chef Mario. Mario. Yeah. That's Chef Mario. Okay? So this is us in our Nigerian attire. This is culture. We are doing this for the culture. You get to work. What are you doing?
This is how we work.
Get to work. Get to work. Get to work. Get to work. We love kids.
Guys, you like my club?
We love kids though.
This 1,000. This 1,000. And
why do they call it
10,000.
Why do they call it 1,000?
It's only people that wear better.
Oh, very well.
Then we are going to do tunga, going to dance tunga. Guys, seriously, I forget my hat. My hat is in the
This is gonna be husband does my makeup to a Nigerian wedding, okay? So let's stay tuned and enjoy this makeup section, okay? Husband does my makeup.
Okay, guys, you have to rate my
Abada. Look at how Chef Ola is looking. It's looking cute.
Posh.
He's looking posh. I'm the only one that's allowed to look cute. He's looking posh.
Poshy, very close.
You actually look good.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, madam.
I spend a lot. This is when you spend a lot. This is how your makeup artist will come.
Okay, guys.
If you spend a lot,
I bet Chichi to make me do her makeup. If I try, she's supposed to pay me. That I need to pay her.
I spend a lot.
So don't expose yourself.
I spent a lot. Don't disgrace me.
Guys, because of I'm thinking of changing my profession. I'm thinking of changing my work. I need another job. I think makeup artist. People have been emailing me, tell me to be a makeup artist.
You lie, liar.
Are you in my email?
Liar.
Are you in my email?
Who's gonna book you?
Are you in my email? Are you in my DM? Just sliding in my DM.
I'll be checking your DM.
Don't check my DM. Guys, people like you guys have been begging me to be a makeup artist. Then I was like, what is best way?
I'm giving you the privilege.
This is seriously
a privilege to do beautician chick makeup.
See.
Do you know what it is?
See my life.
It's a privilege.
See my life.
Doing beautician chick makeup is a
so
privilege. Yes.
Life is so.
So therefore,
that's why you say opportunity. That's why I say any opportunity you see in life, grab it.
I allow you to do my makeup.
I have to grab this opportunity.
You have to put that in your diary.
In my diary.
Wow. This so day I did beautician chick makeup. Yes.
Easy.
Yes.
Easy.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
No, I have to do my better. It's
Why you
part
gonna be
it's
to my
part
head?
It's part of the makeup. It's part of the
And this is
makeup.
very expensive, by the way. This
Oh,
is
yeah?
with silver. This is pure silver, guys.
Okay.
Come on.
Madam, you are wearing blue. Is that the blue? What about your attire? What color do you have on your gele?
I have pink. Come my gele. Can you get my gele so they can see my gele?
Okay, that's your gele.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You got pink, purple, and blue. Oh, wow. That is nice.
Yeah.
So that, guys, I have to combine all the colors.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Hello, welcome to the Pinky Room Show with Princess Roy. Today we are in the Lively TV studio and the radio, studio, and thank God for another day. Today is our November episode, and I'm so excited because I have got a wonderful and great men who are joining me today. And today's topic, honestly, to me, I don't know, but I'm so much expectant. Without wasting my time, I would like to introduce or welcome my wonderful guests. I have Mr. Mooney and Mr. Kennedy with me. Hello. Okay. Hello. So I've got my wonderful guest today. I have Mr. Mooney and I have Mr. Kennedy joining me all the way from Canada. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you.
Mooney, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Sure. Okay. It's nice to have you on the show today, and I'm so honored to have you on the show. I just want us to go straight to today's discussion, and the topic that we have today is: do some men go through abusive relationships? Before we start everything, I would like Mr. Kennedy because you've worked before with people who have been abused. Can you please tell us what is abuse? If we say abuse, what is abuse?
Well, abuse is anything that is unwelcome, that is used to belittle someone. And in some cases, it's called motivational crisis. You create a crisis situation to motivate someone. However, in those settings, you find that a lot of abuse, personal abuse, come in many different forms. It's verbal, it can be physical, it comes in so many different forms, but it leaves a scar no matter the form it comes in, and it does everlasting damage, to some people, while some people are able to get over it through the help that are out there.
Thank you so much. I just want to go to my dear gentleman, Mr. Mooney. I spoke to you before, and you shared your story, because sometimes many people think that it's only women that we go through abuse in relationships, right? And then people might think that we are the vulnerables in relationships. But then there are other men too who are going through abuse, which might be silent and people will not hear about it, because men tend to keep things, right? That's how men were created. That's what it is. As for men, you don't talk about your pain, so people don't know what is going on. Even if a man is being abused, we think it's maybe it's not true, or maybe we haven't heard it enough to believe that men also go through abusive relationship. But you told me your story. You said to me that you have been there, you have been in it, and you have, go through a lot. So I want you to take time to tell us, not in a nutshell, what have you been through? What is your experience in abusive relationship, please?
Well, first, I'd like to say thank you, Princess, for having me on your show.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to send my well wishes to all your viewers. Thank you for everybody for tuning in and hearing our story. Because, as you mentioned, our story is something that most people don't hear and or accept or acknowledge that it actually happens. But it is something that's systemic throughout every society. Men do get abused. I'm an example of that, and I'm here to share my story. So, personally, I was married
Yeah.
to an individual who not only was physically abusive, she was emotionally abusive, um, and it was something that was extremely challenging for me to deal with. Um, it was a time in my life where it was not only challenging but extremely stressful. It was very unpleasant um, for me. And to this day, I still am dealing with those issues. Um, and I really don't wish any other individuals to go through what I went through. As you
Went through.
mentioned, yeah, I've mentioned to you pretty much everything that has happened, and it's
Yeah.
kind of overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Where would you like me to begin?
You know what? I really appreciate you, for even accepting or agreeing to be part of this show. Because, I mean, the first that you spoke to me, honestly, I was so disturbed. I was so upset. I was so, I felt your pain, right? And I'm so honored, and I'm not going to take this for granted, honestly. I am so grateful that you took time to come and share, your story on this show, because as I said, people don't talk about it, right? It's always women, and for you to be a man coming from that point, or that, um um way, and you are coming to share such a story with us, it's honestly, I really appreciate you. So you were saying that you've been through an abusive, you met this lady. How did you meet? How did you, was it a family that connected? Was it friends, or how did it happen?
Well, my ex-wife now and we actually met just at the mall, um, and our relationship um, became very serious very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and we decided to expedite that relationship to the point where we got married very quickly, too
Yeah.
quickly.
Mm.
And I believe that was the first mistake that was made, not realizing who you're going to be in a relationship with completely. I
Yeah.
mean, you can sit down and talk to an individual
Mm.
from morning till night for hours on end, and you still don't know that person
Person.
until you actually, as we say, break bread with them or travel with them or live
Mhm.
under the same roof with them.
Yeah.
So I was actually a victim of manipulation and fraud.
Okay.
The individual I married was basically trying to just get papers,
Mm.
immigration status to stay in
Oh,
Canada.
okay. So
So what
the
happened to me?
have her papers in Canada yet before he met you.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Mm.
So what happened to me basically was the first few months of our relationship,
Mm.
everything was perfect, absolutely immaculate.
Yeah.
Within 48 hours after
Mm.
I got married, this individual changed 180 degrees,
48
completely.
hours.
Yes,
Wow. That was so quick.
very quick. I
Wow.
was, I guess the best word to describe it was I was flabbergasted,
Mm.
completely. blown away by the rapid change in behavior, attitude, tonality, um, demeanor. Everything changed.
Yeah.
So yes, that's basically what happened in the beginning.
So,
Um,
did you marry before all that happened, or it's just before
that was
marriage?
my first time getting married. Yes,
Okay. Now, what I mean is,
I was never married
how long
before
were
that.
you married with her before all this? Was it that 48 hours, or did you marry like you do a legal marriage, or you did not before all this behavior? I mean, started.
Actually, no, we had a legal marriage. We got married here in Canada. It was legal. We
Oh,
also had an Islamic wedding as well.
okay.
Um, and again, this person was so good at manipulation that she actually converted to my faith.
Your faith.
Hmm.
Okay, so what's
Yes.
your faith?
I'm a Muslim.
Muslim. Okay. All right. Okay. So she agreed to become a Muslim as well when you got
Yes,
before you got married. All right. Okay. Mm,
before we got married. Yes,
okay. Yeah. Okay. So it shows that to you, she proved to you that she really loves you so much to even go to the extent of becoming Muslim.
that is correct.
Right. Okay. Mr. Dwight, you are with us. If you have anything that you want to chip in or you want to also put it across, we'll be here to, I mean, we'll be honored. Um, so do you have kids with her?
I do. I have two children with her,
All
two
right.
boys.
Two boys. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. So,
May I go
mm,
ahead and ask you a question, Manu? Do I hear?
okay.
Sorry to hear, about what you went through, and
Yeah.
you're still dealing with the aftermath of
Mm,
what happened. If I may say so, with your permission, I think she was a good actress. She deserved an Oscar,
that's it. Yeah.
for the role, for the show that she put on to convince you that she
Yeah.
loved you when she didn't. So you said after 48 hours,
Mm,
you notice a 180 in terms of behavior.
yes.
Yet
Yeah.
you stayed to the point where there are now two children, and that's a blessing. Kids are always a blessing.
Mm,
But you stayed to the point where there were two kids. So what prompted you to stay, and what made you decide to leave?
yeah.
That's a very good question. Actually, you touched on a very important topic here. So, uh, for me, uh, it was more of fighting to ensure that my children growing up would have a father in their life, the real father, a father figure, someone who genuinely cared for them.
Yeah.
Um, so when we got married, she wanted to have a family. Sorry, before we got married, she explained that she wanted to have a family and children. And of course, like I mentioned, 48 hours after everything changed, she changed her mind, didn't want to have kids.
Mm,
The problems started to happen,
mm,
just arguing about very different things, arguing about many different things.
yeah.
Even when there was nothing to argue about, an argument would arise.
Yeah.
So once she got pregnant,
Mm,
um, she was, as you said, she was a very good actress. But
okay.
when she got pregnant, she disappeared during the second trimester of her pregnancy, and she disappeared
So
for
if
about.
he disappeared, is it where does he did she leave the country or she left home?
No, she left our place of she placed our for our home, and
Okay.
for about 6 to 7 months, I had no contact with her. I met my first son when he was about 3 months old. So, needless to say, I was not there in the hospital. I was not informed about her going into labor. I
Mm,
was denied that right and privilege to be there for my child when he was born. And when she reemerged from the darkness and came back into my life, as a Muslim,
he's married now again.
pardon me,
Has she remarried? Is that what you said? If I heard you,
no. I said
is she married
after she
again? Or,
emerged, no, I said that after she had come back from hiding, I guess you could say it.
Yeah. Okay.
The disappearing act.
Okay.
When she, it was 3 months after my son was born.
Okay.
So that was the first time I actually met my eldest son.
Okay.
And being a Muslim, and being that I took the vows of marriage under the eyes of God, which is a very serious thing for me,
Yeah.
I forgave her for
Okay.
what she had done, and I tried to make amends, only for the sake of my child, because I've always wanted to be a father. I've always wanted to have a family,
Yeah.
and to get married was a very big thing in my life. It's a very big thing in my culture. It's a very big thing in my family.
Yeah.
So we tried to work things out, and
Yeah.
that's when the real problems started to happen.
Something.
She
Okay.
was very physically abusive at that point in front of my child, to the point where the police were notified at least 10 times. And as a result, I was never charged for anything by the police. They've only advised us of seeking counsel, family support, and things of that nature, crisis teams and whatnot. But unfortunately, she disappeared again.
Okay.
And this time that she disappeared, my son was about a year old, and she was pregnant again.
Okay.
Um, my second son was born with the exact same scenario. I was not there in the hospital. She denied me that information of when she was going into labor. And my second son, I've only met him 3 times, and that has been in family court.
So you're saying since your second child were born, you only met him 3 times since then?
3 times.
Okay.
So, I mean, there are so many questions that I wanted to ask about your religion, what your religion says about divorce and all that. I think you mentioned that to your religion is very important, marriage. I don't know how divorce is in your religion. How is it?
Well, I'm not an Islamic scholar. I try to educate myself on all three major faiths, whether that's Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. But specifically in Islam, divorce is allowed.
Okay.
It's not something that's seen as something that's a sin or shunned upon. I know in certain faiths you're not supposed to get a divorce. In Islam, that is not the case. In fact, our Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, his first wife was a divorcee.
Okay.
So it's not really a big thing for people to get a divorce. It's just not something that's you know not something that people would approve of, but it is acceptable. People have done it. It's normal. People get divorced all over the world all the time.
Okay. I asked you
So,
that. Okay.
sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So you can go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so for us in Islam, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it says that once a husband and wife do not have any verbal, physical communication, I believe
Okay.
it's for a matter of 6 months, it's
Okay.
considered a legal divorce.
Okay. All right. Right. I was also going to ask what's the impact on the children. Well, as you said, um, the kids, you guys were in together anyway. She was with the kids. You saw the kids in the few, I mean, 2-3 days or a few days. So obviously, in a way, the few days that they were with you, the kids were with you. What was the impacts that, I mean, you think it had on the kids? Because you said sometimes she was abusing right in front of the kids,
Yes.
right? And kids sees things, and
Yes.
things tend to sometimes register in their mind for long years. It can have impact on them while still
Absolutely.
growing. So do you think that in somehow or whatever is going on, is it having an impact on your children?
Absolutely.
Have you
100%.
tried to meet them again, or for how long haven't you seen your kids?
Well, the last time I saw my children, the Ontario Family Court had given me access to see my children in a supervised access center. And the last time I saw my children was October 19, 2019.
Okay. That was somewhere.
Yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say that. You go ahead. Finish, please.
So what happened was a week before that date, on October the 19th, my lawyer had served her and her lawyer with a motion, excuse me, for unsupervised access.
Okay.
Only because it had been going on for about 9 months, and in the eyes of the court, 9 months is more than enough time for the Children's Aid Society and the social workers to gather enough information on the interactions between father and children to see if there's any red flags. And of course, there was never any red flags. Even the judge in our case mentioned that, it's time for unsupervised access. So when we served her with that motion 1 week before October the 19th, when I went to the center to see my children on that day, I was arrested 20 minutes after. She had called the police and made accusations that I had physically abused her outside in front of the children.
Wow.
And without any questions, I was arrested. Like I said, to this day, I'm still having to deal with that. So I haven't been able to see my children since. And it's been very challenging and difficult for me because of that.
And Mr. Duet, you wanted to say something. What did you want to at what when you were saying, or you were saying something before? Mr. Kennedy? Hello?
Mani, are you seeing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear and see you. Your screen is just
Okay,
freezing.
because Princess Roy. Okay, she's back now.
Yes.
Yeah, same thing. What was that?
Say something. So.
Okay, so basically, let me just say this, that, like I said before, I went to school, and the education that I acquired had to do with, similar situations. And I've had the opportunity to work with both male and females who have been abused and who, for one way or another, one thing or another. I guess you have the strength and the fortitude not to react physically when you're abused. And that is something that happens in quite a few of the relationships, in quite a few of the stories, quite a few of the people whom I had spoken to in the past, where they will stay till it reaches a point where one person is physically abusive and then the next person retaliates physically. And that is when it really goes far south. And so, therefore, hats off to you that you had the fortitude not to do that. However, it's a situation because it, I too were married, and there were times when there were disagreements, but it is important that in any relationship there is respect, number one. And number two, you mention your kids, and I'm sure that it's having, some adverse effect upon them. I hope that they're getting some help with this, because if they're not, then believe me, children from their age of 6, they start to form their characters to who they're going to be. And at that young age, with them seeing this, okay, it is going to be etched in their minds forever. So I hope that there is some form of help, whether it be through you, herself, or, just the courts in general will offer some help to the kids. Excuse me. And therefore, there are many similar situations out there. There are many stories. And as I've said before, with outside of rape, because 80% of all rape cases are not reported, men are abused. Okay, and as you said before, Princess Roy, that men do not come forward because we're living in a world where men are supposed to be macho and tough, and if you cry, you're looked upon as effeminate and stuff like that. And so, therefore, men are abused, and yet still they fail to come forward. You're brave enough to come forward. And let me just ask you, are you getting professional help for this?
I was getting professional help for this, yes. Unfortunately now because of COVID, everything is being done through Zoom and online, so it's a little different. But yes, I do have someone who I do speak to regarding this.
Okay, that's great because there's help out there. Actually, there are groups out there. I don't know if you know about that. That actually meet, share similar stories, just like NA, or Alcohol Anonymous, whichever. And yeah, it's a situation that is, as I say, that is hidden, and it's hidden deep because men are not supposed to, be abused by a woman, or it is said that in society that a man shouldn't stand up or allow himself to be abused. These things does happen. But what do we learn from this? What do we want to take away from this? We need to look on first and foremost how we get away from it, how not to be caught up into a situation where we react physically, number one. Number two, we need to seek help because there's help out there. Number three, we need to realize that, you know what? There's a saying I love. It said it takes a big man to stare ignorance in the face with a smile. And at times, sometimes it's right in your face, but you have to know how to step back and know, because when it reach a boiling point. And the best thing to do is just walk away. Walk away, walk away,
Absolutely.
walk away. Like I said, congratulations to you. You're able to do that, even though you're still dealing with this because you're still going through the court system to see your kid. I'm sure that you still have nights when when your memory goes back to those horrible times, and it put you in a different mode or a different state of mind. So Princess Roy, what do you think? What do you want to add, or what do you want to say for the viewers out there?
Yeah, so I was gonna ask him, what kind of impact has it had on you, emotionally, as Mr. Kennedy has already said, and financially? How? What's the challenge that you're going through at the moment? Because I know you have to involve the courts and all that is involved. I don't know how it is in Canada, but
Well, to be quite frank with you, um, I personally, now this is just my own personal opinion, um, and I've never actually had to go through something like this before. Clearly, this was my first marriage that went sour. But from my experience, personal experience, what I have seen in the courts, not just in my case, but other men's cases, I find that the court system here in Canada is extremely biased,
okay.
very one sided.
Mm,
And as a Canadian, it doesn't make me proud to say this, but I find that there's systemic racism in the court system.
okay. Okay.
Um, Financially, it has been a great burden for me. I've spent well over $30,000 in lawyer fees just in family courts. Um, and as I mentioned, I was charged criminally for crimes that I did not commit, which I also had to fight legally for. That's a criminal court, which costs almost $10,000 for that. So financially has been it's been challenging. Um, Emotionally, I have to say that to this day I do have trust issues. It's very hard for me to trust anybody in
Yeah.
terms of being in a relationship or allowing them into my personal space. So yes, it has affected me um, in not a pleasant way.
Yeah. Is it any way in the like mentally, maybe you're anxious sometimes, you're too much worried and all that? All the
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mm,
I have been diagnosed with anxiety ever since the first split happened when I lost contact with my children.
yeah.
To this day, I've been having anxiety because of that, and I try to manage it. I try to manage it, but it is something that I'm dealing with.
Yeah. So what's the advice that you can give to him, Mr. Kennedy? You working with people who has been through the same situation, how to deal with his anxiety and all that.
Well, I think, Manny, I think you're pretty much on the ball where that's concerned. You said that there's someone you speak to, which is good. You said that, with and let me just go back and say that first and foremost. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Keep contact no matter how small. What I would also encourage you to do is, because I said there's out there and there are groups out there. If you like after the show, whatever I can give you, because I know of a particular group that you can, join men who have gone through similar things.
Yeah.
And so that support, that peer support is always vital, to your well-being, whether it be whether it be emotionally, whether it be your physical well-being. Of course, all of this ties into mental, your mental situation, and also financially. Okay, so there is help out there. But you're on the ball because you first of foremost have to take care of yourself.
For
You have to make
self.
sure that you are better, make sure that you're strong, okay,
Yeah.
in order to continue this battle. Because
Mm.
I was married too. Been through the court system and can agree with what you said in terms of the bias that is there.
Mm.
Okay, I know what happened there.
Mm.
Okay, so and that is not strange. It is not new. When you get linked up with the group, you will hear similar stories about how the court system goes about it. Let me just ask this: were you ever able to clear your name where the accusation, where you were falsely accused of physically, hurting
Un-
her?
Unfortunately, that has not been able to happen as of yet, and that's pretty much because of this whole worldwide pandemic. Since I was
Right.
falsely accused, charged, and arrested, it has been well over a year for me to go to trial. So it's definitely not due process. Now, I'm not relying on due process for the case to be dismissed because I have a slew of evidence against her. Because this is not her first time doing
Good.
this. She's done this in the past as well, and those charges I beat completely. The Crown completely dismissed all the charges. So again, I'm looking for my day in court where I can go to speak to the judge and present my evidence, and hopefully justice will be served.
You see, I really, I've
Right.
been thinking about this, as you mentioned that, I mean, women are always like men when it comes to this kind of situations. It's like you don't get much help. Why is it that, and what can we do to stand up? Because we need our men. The thing is, our men are the head of us, right? They are the main, body when it comes to family, right? The mother depends on the father, and the children depends on the father as well. So if a man is going through this kind of situation and he's not getting all the support that he needs, to me, it's very sad. It's really sad. So what do
Well,
you what can we do to make things better, or how far can our voice get to cry out and say no? These men, our men, also need this support. In as we think that women are vulnerable more than men are also vulnerable, as we are talking about, same as what Muni has been through. So what can we do to make a change, to bring a change in this kind of situation?
well, like Money said before, that Canada is pro-female, so to speak, and you'll find that there's a lot of help out there for
Mm,
females more than males. And also, too, what you find is because women are quicker to come forward with these things, then
mm,
there are more organization that will cater to need of a woman where abuse or whatever else it is concerned. Whereas with men, because men are, hide it more and they don't come forward, you find that there are not that many organizations out there that will be there to offer help because like we said before, it's done, men go through it, but because men hide it and just let it blow over water under the bridge kind of situation,
mm,
then there are not too many organizations out there that offer support. There are just a handful of organizations. In terms, I guess, as men and even also on the side of women too, we have to learn to, like Money did. I mean, you, like I said before, you have the fortitude not to react physically,
yeah.
or not even react in a verbal abusive way. And so The most that we can do, first of all, self-care. If there are children involved, like in your situation, Money, then we want to make sure that they get the help that they need to get. Okay, and as much as we try, our kids will understand. Children are very resilient, more than we even know. Okay, so as much as possible, to the viewing audience out there, if you're in a situation and it is abusive, whether it be physical or verbal, and you try to seek help and no help is forthcoming, or if one person decide that, you know what, you go ahead and seek help, I don't need help,
Yeah.
then I would say as much as you can, because marriage is supposed to be something eternal. Yet still it is not. I mean, things happen, people are imperfect. But as much as you can, yes, fight for your marriage. But at the end of the day, it is self-care. If you see where it's going in a direction where where it's unsalvageable, then you step away, you walk away from it. And do not be afraid to leave material possessions behind for your own sanity and for your own safety and your own security. I mean, because look at what is happening to you, man. You were falsely accused of being physically, abusive when you were not. And so therefore, just the peace of mind that you will get from walking away from such situation, then you'll be better off for it when you look back on it. It doesn't make sense you stay in a relationship for the sake of the kids when you're dying.
Yeah.
Because like I said, first and foremost is self-care. Of course, we love our children, we'll give our lives for them.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the end of the day, it's all about self-care. So the advice would be to just walk away from it. Once you see it cannot be salvaged. Once it is finished. And we know, I mean, we know whenever we're in relationships, whether that be marriage or common law, whatever the status of the relationship, we know when they reach a point where they cannot be salvaged anymore.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that is the time when we need to start to slowly back out of it.
Yeah.
Because if we stay, we're going to end up being more resentful to the abusive person. And I know of cases where the female was physically abusing the male. And the one time when the male responded physically, he ended up in jail. So those are the things, some of the things that we have to look out for and be careful of.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It is crucial, not just for men, but also women to not react physically.
Right. I seems to have lost you both.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm not able to see both of you at all. I can hear you. Money, can you hear me? Money's out of the picture completely. Likewise yourself, Concession. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
back. Okay, go ahead, Princess. All right, I can hear you. Money, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
One was trying to
There is a bit of an echo coming through.
Could it be a cell phone? I know my phone is off.
Right, right. Is it better? It's better for me, Princess Roy. Are you good now? Yeah, your volume is very low, though. I can hear Money loud and clear. Your volume is low.
Yeah, I cannot hear you at all, Princess Ray.
You hear me, right, Money?
I can hear you, Mr. Kennedy, but I cannot hear Princess.
I'm sorry. Okay. Princess Roy, are you there? Say something.
me now? Is it better? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, it came through a very loud echo there. Say something again.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello? Hello?
It's better now. Can you hear me now?
Say something again.
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
still a bit of there's a reverberation going on.
I think there's something wrong with your audio input.
Yeah. Say something again.
Is it better now?
Slightly.
Can you hear me now?
Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now? Hear me now?
I'm hearing, but is it better now? Hmm. Money, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Princess Roy?
Is the echo coming back?
That's right.
Can you hear me now?
There's a very, very loud, continuous echo.
Yeah. Are you there, Princess Roy?
Yeah, I'm here. We're trying to
Yeah.
stop them.